Welcome back to your Dream Coach podcast. My name is Shayla Way, and in this podcast is for people to create the space to connect the dots from where they are to where they want to go. And in today's episode, I'm going to dive into the power of motivation and the feelings, the thoughts around motivation and its influence in going after some of our dreams and aspirations. And so whether some of those dreams you're striving for right now are maybe some more success in your career, promotion, maybe it has to do with personal fulfillment or creative expression, motivation really serves as the driving force that can propel us forward on our journey. And so as we dive in today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what even is motivation, right? Why is that word something that we use loosely when we're going after our goals and dreams, some of the challenges that come with motivation, and then leave you with some tools on how we can stay motivated and keep the dream or the goal in front of us to continue to pursue the dreams that we have on our list. Well, as the heart of motivation lies the concept of goal, something that I talk a lot about on this podcast. And whether we use the word goal or we use the word dream, dreams provide individuals with that sense of direction, purpose, and meaning. And so whether some of these goals or dreams are more short-term or they're more long-term, goals act as part of the motivators, right? That we need to take action. And so the thought process behind motivation often does begin with goal setting. So when we think about a dream that we want to go after, it does require some steps involved. So individuals evaluate their desires, areas maybe for improvement, and then they set specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals, or we refer to those as SMART goals. And this cognitive process involves envisioning a desired outcome and formulating a plan to achieve that, which is going to ignite that motivational spark within us. And so through coaching and with a lot of the clients that I work with and that I help, whether that is in a leadership role or it's employees, is we really need to always find those ways to stay motivated for ourselves and not just going through motions. And so one of the ways that I really help my clients do this is quite simple. And what we do is we start with what it is that they want. And so just that clarity can also really allow us to feel motivated. So what it is that they want, and then why do they want it? I think a lot of times when I talk to people about dreams and goals, there's lots and lots of things that can be on someone's list, right? There's lots of things on what we want. The part that's sometimes missing, that's missing is the follow-up as to the why. Why is that goal important? Why is that dream important? And then furthermore, how are they going to get there? So that third step is even more important because we can have the dream. We potentially could just have the why it's important. But if we don't figure out the path on how we're going to get there, we're going to be in that exact same spot a year, 2 years later. So whether, for example, it's a savings goal, it's a trip you want to go on, maybe it's investing in a new property, it doesn't really matter what that dream is. But it's important, in my opinion, to have dreams as using that to ignite that inner soul, inner energy, right? Having dreams on our list. And then why are they important to us? Figuring out the why. Because sometimes I know even for myself, when I know why I'm going after something, that motivation isn't just a feeling. That motivation is really inside as to this is what I'm going after and this is why it's important. And then giving myself the confidence with the steps on how I'm going to get there. And so what's really interesting is that motivation can stem from both intrinsic and extrinsic sources. So intrinsic motivation is going to arise from internal factors, such as personal satisfaction, enjoyment, a sense of fulfillment. Conversely, extrinsic motivation originates from external rewards or punishments, such as praise, recognition, or financial incentives. So the thought process underlying intrinsic motivation often revolved around autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And so individuals engage in activities they find rewarding. They're driven by a genuine interest or passion. And on the other hand, extrinsic motivation may involve weighing the potential rewards or consequences associated with a particular behavior, leading individuals to pursue certain actions to attain external benefits or avoid negative outcomes. Now, furthermore, our belief systems and mindset also play a pivotal role in shaping motivational thought process. So a growth mindset, which I've talked a lot about on this podcast, characterized by the belief that abilities can be developed through effort and perseverance, fosters resilience and a willingness to embrace challenges. So in contrast, a fixed mindset marked by the belief that intelligence and talent are fixed traits may lead to a fear of failure and sort of diminish motivation. So I do want to talk about some of the challenges that can arrive from solely relying on that feeling of being motivated. And why I really want to bring up some of the challenges is because I think it's important that we understand that nobody is just motivated all of the time. Sometimes, especially the way the world is today through social media or what we see through a very small lens, we can believe that there are certain people that are just always motivated. And I'm here to tell you that is not true, right? Challenges with motivation are varied and they can manifest in different forms depending on individual circumstances and the dreams that they have. So some common challenges that sometimes people face with motivation is probably the one I think everyone can relate to, and that's procrastination, right? So we've all been guilty of procrastinating, putting off those tasks or the goals, despite knowing maybe their importance, that will be a significant barrier, right? And procrastination often stems from either fear of failure, perfectionism, or simply just feeling overwhelmed by the task at hand. And so when we think about whatever that dream is that we're going after, and we're really clear on that, and we understand why that's important, that third step of how are we going to get there, sometimes to just, eliminate some of the procrastination or to not have it be something that really, gets us off track is to just breaking that down to really simple things that maybe aren't as overwhelming. And so that clarity will help with procrastination. Now, we're all human and no human is motivated, like I mentioned, all of the time. So it's okay to be, to procrastinate here and there, but name it, own it, and then reset, right? We don't need a whole year or a whole new month to get motivated again, right? So just diving right back into getting us on track to achieve that dream. The second one is that lack of clarity. Now, I really talked about that as being the second step of going after a goal or a dream. So number one is just what is it that we're going after? But the clarity, that can really help in the why. So when we're uncertain about goals or the dreams we're going after, what can happen is there's a lack of clear direction, and that can sort of dampen motivation. So without that clear understanding of why we're working towards something, it is just really challenging to stay motivated and focused no matter who you are. Now, the third one that we sometimes see is self-doubt. So this is that negative self-talk, those little voices in our head. Sometimes we refer to those as those limiting beliefs that can talk us out, or they can create that lack of confidence, which can undermine motivation. And so when individuals doubt their abilities or question their worthiness, they can struggle to muster the enthusiasm that they need to pursue their dreams. And so that's just important, again, that we figure out really what is it that we want? Why do we want that? And then what are the very clear steps it's going to take to get us there? Sometimes I also see burnout. Personally, I've experienced this too, where just that, overexertion resulting that can be just making us feel depleted. And I know for myself that getting a good night's sleep can really help just reset my whole attitude, all my motivation, and just that self-care, right? Because when we aren't taking care of ourselves, that definitely can diminish our enthusiasm and for sure our energy levels. I talked a little bit as well about that fear of failure. And so the fear of failing or making mistakes often can paralyze the motivation. So concerns about potential setbacks or the perceived consequences of failure can often deter individuals from taking risks and pursuing their goals wholeheartedly. So like I've mentioned a few times, is just that, what is it that we want? Why is that dream important? And how are we going to achieve that dream? And that should really help really limit that fear of failure, because the confidence that comes from the clarity, the certainty, and the detailed steps allows us to bring a lot more confidence to achieving a dream than the fear that can sometimes set in. So just addressing these challenges and just being really realistic that these happen to pretty much everybody, and then having the tools to overcome them often requires not only just that awareness, but the resilience and then proactive strategies. So having techniques like your goal setting, I've talked a lot about time management, just even having support in your circle, practicing self-compassion. And if we don't feel motivated to do something in that moment, that's okay. We're human. A good reset of a night's sleep and a new day can often reset us. And then continuing to cultivate a growth mindset so that we can continue to stay on course and allowing to reignite our motivation towards achieving our dreams. Now, overcoming challenges with not feeling motivated can be a multifaceted process that involves addressing both those internal and external factors. So I just want to go through a few strategies that I use personally and then also professionally with my coaching clients to help reignite motivation. And so this one has been talked about a lot. The first one, and I'm going to keep sharing this because I think clarity is something that is so simple, but is something in our day-to-day busy lives that we sometimes don't create space to do. And one of the things that I see my coaching clients really benefit from is creating space one-on-one with me or in a group setting where they're creating space to allow themselves to come up for air, create some space to connect the dots from where they are to where they want to go. And so the first tool I want to leave here is setting clear, achievable goals. So taking something that is a big goal, a big dream, and breaking that down into smaller, manageable tasks. Being very specific and having a very clear roadmap of what you want to accomplish. And that is going to help not only increase clarity for sure, but that is what's going to ignite some motivation. Because when we see a dream laid out for us and we work it backwards, it does ignite motivation because part of us all of a sudden has that confidence of, oh, I probably could achieve that. Okay. I talked about this as well, but I want to really highlight this second one here, which is finding meaning and purpose. So that's the why. That was the second step, right? Is that we got to know what it is that we want, but then we have to know why. So connecting your goals to your values and passions, understanding why your goals are important to you on a deeper level can provide intrinsic motivation and a sense of purpose. The third one, which I really love, and I found this one really, really beneficial in my life, is the ability to create that routine. You know, establishing a consistent daily routine will help cultivate discipline and maintain momentum. So when there's less thinking involved, and the example I use a lot is the example of when someone is implementing a new habit or they're looking for ways to put things in their schedules that is going to just be consistent, that they know if they're consistently doing this one thing, it's going to get them closer to their goals and they stick to that schedule. The example I often refer to is brushing your teeth. And that might seem a little crazy, right? But I would hope to think that majority of you listening don't actually have to think so much about, should I brush my teeth or should I not? It's become something that's just part of our routine. So how do we create a routine, over time that is going to be in alignment with building our habits to support your motivation? And it could be something as simple as waking up at a certain time every day. It could be then the second step is it, going for a workout? Is it journaling? Is it drinking a glass of water? And lots of these routines aren't happening overnight. It does take intention. It does take clarity. But what I will tell you from experience is that when you get the first part of a routine established, then the next part is really easy to build on. And over time, with that clarity and that roadmap, that's going to allow you to build really, really consistent feelings of feeling really motivated. The fourth one is to reward progress. So when we celebrate small wins along the way to the larger goals, what we're doing is we're recognizing and we're rewarding our progress. And it doesn't really matter how small, but we can actually reinforce positive behavior in small little ways. For me, sometimes it's something as simple as earning myself a Starbucks coffee on the way to work on a Friday morning because of the small successes I've done for myself and my business throughout the week. Okay, it doesn't matter what that looks like for you, but what I do know is that when there's a little reward set aside, that does boost motivation. The next one I want to touch on is seeking inspiration. And this one might seem quite simple, might seem confusing on, well, how do we seek inspiration? And I just want you to think about, when you think about where you're spending a lot of that time, that's just the extra space in the day. And some of you are like, I don't have any extra space in my day, but is it a drive to work? Is it a bus ride home? Is it waiting for your kids at practice? Is it times when your kids are making their lunches? I mean, it doesn't matter what the space and time looks like. But I think where I'm going with this is that when we think about seeking inspiration, is could we create some more time in our schedules where we're listening to motivational books? The people we're following on social media are lifting us up, right? They're like-minded people. So what are just sources that can uplift you and energize you versus sort of kind of sucking that away from you? And so feeling that feeling more often of inspiration, that especially if it resonates with your goals, will be in alignment with helping you achieve your dreams. And the last one I do want to touch on is just the ability of accountability partner. I really believe that one of the reasons majority of people have invested coaching with me is that accountability. And sometimes when we've got lots of moving parts in life, we sometimes can forget about ourselves and we can forget about how important it is to have someone checking in with us. And so although coaching looks different for a lot of my clients, I would say one of the things that majority of them are really grateful for is that ability for me to listen, take notes, set some clear plans and actions, and be able to follow up and set some deadlines on when that needs to happen. And whether that is with a coach, whether that is with a spouse or a best friend, a person in your workspace, that accountability and just the fact of us saying it out loud, one of my dreams is blank, actually holds us a lot more accountable than just having those thoughts and dreams in our own head. And so when you find that accountability partner, okay, they can share in your goals and your progress, and they can also share in celebrating alongside with you. So as I wrap up today's episode, I just want to pull together that motivation isn't something that we just automatically always feel. And just to give you that permission that it's okay. We're going to have challenges when it comes to feeling motivated. We're not robots. It's okay to feel all the things. But what I want to really leave you with is recognizing that, owning it, but then flipping the switch to using some of these tools to get back on course so that you can continue to go after some of those dreams in your life that are so, so important to you. So I really want to thank you for joining me on this journey of exploring growth and empowerment. Remember that you are capable of achieving extraordinary things when you embrace the journey with kindness, hard work, and audacious dreams. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep believing in the power of your dreams. We'll talk to you soon.